Happy 30th anniversary to Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, my favorite film of 1995. I was introduced to Ace Ventura from a TV spot. I was in my room. It was January of 1994. I saw the spot. It was the one where the Miami Dolphin mascot has been kidnapped, and there's only one person who can find it. I forgot what the narrator said. Ace Ventura. And then I see all those other TV spots, especially when he catches the bullet in his mouth. The shark rises up. Oh, I didn't see it right away. My brother saw it before me. He came home, spoiled the whole movie for me, but I still wanted to see it. Me and my dad went and saw it because my mother didn't really go for this kind of humor. I could not stop laughing. It was spoiled, but I still loved it. It was hilarious. And yeah, it definitely was something that I wanted when it came on VHS. I believe it was June of 94, 4 months later. I went over to my grandmother's for 2 weeks whenever it came out on VHS. No, it was 1 week. And I took it with me, and I wore it like no tomorrow. I just could not stop watching it. By the time I came home, I was already tired of it. But that didn't last long. I eventually got back into it like maybe a month later. I just needed a little break because I watched it way too many times. Okay. And then, November 95, the sequel comes out. I couldn't wait. I loved the first one so much, I had to see the second one. My dad did spoil the whole opening. He said they were going to do a parody of Cliffhanger, but this time with a raccoon, so I knew that was coming. It was a little, sad to hear that, but still, I was going to go see the movie. It opens up with Ace climbing a mountain, trying to get to that raccoon. Helicopter shows up. They tell him that we already got the pilots. And he goes, what about the animal cargo? But they tell him it's just one little raccoon, but Ace ignores them and says he's going up there. He calls the guy a loser in this signature way. He sees a little birdie that wants food after that, so he regurgitates. I'm not going to mimic it. I'm afraid I might throw up if I kind of... Nah, I'm going to do it. He regurgitates into the birdie's mouth to feed it. And when it comes to mother birds regurgitating their food to feed their young, I actually learned about that in The Far Side. I'm not kidding around. Well... He gets up there, he sees the wreckage, and then we get introduced to Spike, his monkey sidekick, who I believe was in the first film, but only for like a small part. But this time, Spike's got a big part. Well, Ace sees the raccoon, and I'm still trying to figure out how he got over there. The cage is where he's at. On this other side of the small ledge, there's the raccoon. So, did it jump out? Or how did it get over there? They never tell us how, but I guess we're not supposed to worry about it because they're doing a parody of Cliffhanger. He shoots the harpoon, it gets the cable, he gets the raccoon all geared up, giving him this cute, adorable look. But sadly, the straps break. Ace grabs the paw, it slips, and he watches in horror as the raccoon plummets to its death. He screams no, and then we skip time later. He goes to these monks on this temple up on this high mountain with this giant stairway. We see Greenwall going up. He goes in there, but when he says he's looking for someone, the guy says we are all this, and he says the names, we have no names, and then he goes, he bends over and speaks from his mom. Oh, yeah, right this way. He takes him to Ace, who's now meditating, has all these animals around him, and then he scares Greenwall. Greenwall offers him a job. He declines. He offers him $20,000. He still declines. The head monk comes in, says that he has to take the case because they are wanting him out badly. Because apparently, since he's been there, he's been driving them nuts. He says he has to get this thing first. He goes, no, wait, there it is. You just obtained it. I have. Hey, what am I going to tell you? Take mine. It took you 80 years to achieve. But that's what motivates him to take the case. And whenever he says the monk says he's going to tell the others, he's like, break it to them gently. They are partying that he is gone, doing backflips, throwing toilet paper, breaking out the champagne. One of them's even in his underwear. Ooh! But when they sees all of them, it's that joke where he's like, denial is a horrible thing. They're getting ready to leave, but Ace has to do one more thing, and that is going for the world's record for the slinky. I never accomplished doing it that well. I stunk at that. But Ace is doing a magnificent job, but sadly it stops in the last stair. on a step. They have to go because they gotta catch a plane. They're on there. Greenwald finally tells him what's going on, but Ace doesn't want to really listen. Then we see them driving to where they're heading to Cappy's. But Ace is driving along with him. The bums might motion his body. We got that good music. Ooh, ah, ooh. And then dun 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 dun. Ooh, ah, ooh. Yeah, Ace even motions right when they sing that at the right time. We see a subway billboard. And then when Greenwald tells him that the place is beyond those trees, Ace just turns the wheel and just drives through the jungle. He drives on top of I'm guessing a river or whatever. He drives on top of the water. He sings Chitty 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 Bang Bang. And then when they finally reached it, he's going fast, fast, fast. Greenwald's like, he checks, like a glove. And we mimic that line a lot. When a friend of mine hit a home run in school, he just pointed where I went and said that line. I was in 8th grade when this movie came out, for the record. Okay, they go in there, they meet, well, they don't go in there yet, they meet Cappy. Ace is not exactly all that thrilled about him at first when he sees him use the riding crop to hit that horse, so Ace gives him a taste of his own medicine. Ace then pretty much identifies all this stuff, and 2 of them are clues that he's obviously the culprit. The white stuff on his shoe, the abrasion on his palm. His physical appearance and the way he talks is a big giveaway that he's the culprit. It's one of those mysteries. That's my biggest problem with this movie is, this is one of those mysteries where you immediately know who the culprit is. And what really gives him his way is when he says the Chati. I may not say them right. I apologize if I do. I apologize, I don't. Okay. He goes, they're like family. When you hear that, you're like, oh yeah, he's definitely the culprit. Well, he's annoying Ace by doing all this dumb stuff, putting the stuff for getting food right here up his nose, his mouth, and making these weird noises and popping those things out. He's the Monopoly guy who's obviously doing that Mandela effect with the monocle. But he sees the woman that he's with wearing a fox around her neck, and he retaliates, like punching her boyfriend. Oh, that guy looks like he should be her son if she came to pose as her husband because she couldn't find a date. He lifts him up and he like shows off, and then dude, I passed you. Dude, I collect $200. He gives him to her, she collects it. After that, Ace then goes to a slideshow where he meets 3 suspects in the slides, but when he starts doing the old picking his nose, then attacking one, and then when Cappy loses his temper, he's like, ew, and then he like, I will silver away. Cappy gets back at him by taking him to his trophy room, and Ace, when he sees like he goes crazy. After they leave, he tells that elephant to sit down on Cappy's car. Well, they go into the jungle. We see these trees with these red mushrooms growing on them. That comes back later. And then they go to the tribe. Ace is Bay's blending in. He's meeting them. He repeats what Greenwald says, but of course, he does not say it well. He says bumblebee tuna because that's what it rhymes with what Greenwald said. He sees that guy balancing. He shakes it he's just acting like a total man-child because he is one. Yeah, that's right. If we were kids, we'd be doing everything that he was doing. Well, he goes and meets the chief. And the chief spits in his eye, letting him know that he likes him. He meets his son, the prince, who spits in his eye, and then Ace does what? Okay, when they come out with all that mucus on their faces, to me, this is the worst part of the film because I have never liked this scene. I remember when I saw it in the TV spot, so I knew it was coming. I knew I was gonna gag, and I did. They meet the guard, a baboon with a spear. Then they see the cage. Ace is not allowed on it. When the guy pulls the dagger out, Ace like jumps in a way where he literally positions where the blade is right above his neck. And when the guy's back is turned, he's doing that, jumps on, dances around, and jumps down the him. And whenever he hears the name of the bat, oh yeah, I forgot. Ace has a problem with bats. he hates them. He can't stand them. So whenever he found out before they got to the tribe that he was going to have to find one, he got really annoyed. But he still is going to accept the case. Whenever they point out the bat's name, Shikaka, I hope I said it right, and they kneel. So, of course, he can't help but have some fun with them by constantly saying the name until one kneels without when he says the wrong name, which is Chicago. After that, he learns about the fact that they make guano. I hope I said that right. Out of their they may use it to make many things in their tribe, like cups and pots. Yeah, bat droppings. Okay. He meets the princess, but they don't really get to know each other first. But then Ace sneaks away to inspect the cage. He does for Prince. And man, when Ace Ventura does for Prince, he does everything, including himself. He finds nothing. Then he just knocks the cage over, sees the feather. I'm trying to figure out how he got down there, because when he knocked the cage over, the bottom looked completely flat. So this leads me to believe that the feather was put there on purpose, or that when the guy stole it or inspected. I'll get to that later. Okay. Ace then finally meets the princess. She tempts him. He rejects it, but then he has to go satisfy himself. Greenwald walks in. He covers himself up. He says, "I'll meet him there in 10 minutes." They go in there, but they go to the caves where the bat caves. Ace doesn't want to go in there. He protests until he's given a torch by the prince. Ace gets mad and goes in there and constantly is doing this to try and fend off any bats. He finds another feather. He hears a squeak. He pulls out the medallion. Here's another squeak. He's like, "Ah, you wicked spawn of Satan!" Here's another squeak. "Die, double burns!" I throws the torch. And he's like, "I'm okay. I'm fine." Yeah. And then he comes running out. All the bats are flying at him. He thinks one's in his hair, but nothing's in there. Greenwald even has to point that out. He points out the 2 feathers about Quinn. So, who he met at the party. Suspect number 1. And considering we're only about 40 minutes into the movie, I don't think Quinn is the culprit, because we already know who it is. He tells Greenwald he's a master of disguise. So when Quinn's driving through the jungle on a trail, Ace disguises himself as a chimpanzee, a hippopotamus, a lion, and then he gets Spike to put a hook on the vehicle so he can glide with a parachute to periscope. I hope it's a periscope, yeah. And he just does, just to see the license plate. And then when he meets with one of the guys from the slideshow, he's in a robotic rhino, and you know what part's coming up. You all know what part's coming up. The fan breaks. It's hot. He's constantly taking off his clothes, and whenever the meeting is finally over, he tries to get out. The door, the wheel breaks off. He tries desperately to get it open. He pulls a pipe or wire or whatever tube, and he's just going crazy until he finally notices lights coming on the back side. And y'all know what's coming up. When these safari tourists drive up, this family walks up, and when they see him poking out through the back end, the mother goes, "The mother rhino giving birth!" He starts stretching his head through that dang hole, and then followed by his arms trying to get it wider. They're freaking out, and the mother's first, she's confused, and then she's like, "What?" And the daughter like, "Mommy!" And when the father starts, he's like getting on, he slips all the way out in the nude, covered with all that sweat and meat, all slimy. The son's like, "Oh!" When I first saw that, I could not stop laughing. I laughed so hard, I choked on my spine. I had to stand up from my seat and literally start trying to get it out. But even when I was choking, I was still laughing. That's how funny that scene was. Okay. They interrogate Quinn. Unfortunately, they find out that the guy he hired, he didn't steal the bat. Somebody beat him to it. But I'm still trying to figure out how Quinn, unless the bird went with the guy that he hired, and whenever he lifted the cage up or something, the feather fell down. Because once again, I thought I saw a flatness on the thing with, no bars or anything, just total flat. Like no bottom where the feather could slide. So him moving the cage and the feather falling down and him moving it back is the only way that I think that feather could have gotten back underneath the cage. Well, when he finds out Quinn's clean, He tries to apologize. Quinn accepts his apology by having his goon throw him from a moving truck. Ace accepts the fact that they gave him a ride. He leaves, and then we get the chase sequence. First, Ace gets a dart to the neck, runs, gets a dart in the arm, continues running, gets another dart in the arm. He's starting to go numb. He thinks he lost him. 4 more darts hit him in the back. He goes, hey! Now, whenever the guys are chasing him, their feet are the only thing you can see. When he wakes up, he finds out that the dart belongs to the Wachutu. I hope I said that right. And Greenwald lets him know that the medicine man has protested this intertribal wedding. Yeah, we've now got a new suspect that just now comes out of nowhere. Ace goes there to investigate. The prince goes with him. Ace is now seeing this savage tribe. They're beating the drums. They're dancing and shouting. They got the staffs with the human skulls on them, and they're going absolutely bonkers with the yelling and all that until Ace sees a mask, puts it on, and tries to pose on them. But his dance moves are just making them like, what the heck is this? Who is this guy? But he totally gives himself after he jumps over the roaring fire, takes the mask off for the big finale, and then all those spears come at him. The prince gets captured. He meets the medicine man, and he's got bad teeth. So he calls him white devils, but he then gets the prince to translate for him. Of course, the prince is not saying it correctly, and he ends up issuing a challenge to them. So the chief tells him if he passed these tests, Ace will not die. Test number 1, walking over the hot coals. They got first the Wachutu clan member does it, tribe member does it. He makes it across, and then Ace just smiles and pushes him on top of him, and then jumps on him, and then goes across. And when he gets across, one of them does the old kick the ground in irritation. Next is that log balancing test. Ace just takes the guy's cover, pulls it off, twirls it right in the booty, and he goes flying down. He goes, falling down. Next is the surgery scene. The medicine man pulls out what I'm guessing is I don't know what body part that is. Ace just reaches into the guy's mouth and pulls out an apple core. Then he sees a pregnant woman, leans her down. Pow! The baby goes flying out. This guy catches it. And when he then does that, yee! The match with the song that's playing right now, because that's a pretty good, neat song to go with this scene. Now it's the circle of death. And all he has to do is pass this and he wins. First, you hear the big, heavy footsteps. Boom. Everybody clears the way, and then you see that big, colossal guy. And then he turns around, and he's got that backpack that's carrying the real warrior. The tiny warrior is what he's credited. Played by Tommy Davidson, also from In Living Color. And they get a giant guy like, ooh, and when he gets that thing unstrapped, Tommy jumps right out. Yeah. Ace takes this as a joke. This is it. I have to beat him. He finds out this guy's better in combat than him. First, when Ace tries to throw a punch, he bites down his hand. When Ace tries to bite back, he flips him over. The prince from the Wachani tribe tells him he's a much better fighter than you. He grabs Ace by the mouth. The tiny warrior drags him off, rearranges his hair to make him fit White Devil. Ace stands up, and at this point, you think he's finally going to start fighting back, but he's still getting beat up by the tiny warrior. He's punching him, then he's beating his face on the drums, then he's doing the thing like this, covering him with holding his hand up, so as Ace rises up. The tiny warrior gets a spear. He asks the prince, don't you stand there, throw me a spear. This is causing the chief and even the medicine man, everyone in the tribe, including the prince who's supposed to be his friend, to laugh at him. The chief translate, chief says you make him laugh. You're like sissy girl. But unfortunately, that's enough to get them to now call an Ace friend to the tribe. So, but he lets him know if that curse is not lifted, I believe it's tomorrow when it's noon, that they're going to kill everybody there, and he's going to smash Ace's head on a rock. They leave, but not before they give him a little farewell gift. He gets shot in the leg by a dart. Now, this is a clue that can only be seen with characters within the movie. There's no way a viewer's going to watch it, but when Ace looks at the dart that hit him whenever he was being chased in the jungle, and the dart that just recently hit him, he now knows they're made from two different trees. And one of them is the tree that has those mushrooms that he played the drums on, which means right where they were, that's where the bat was the whole time. And Ace does something really stupid. And he tells the prince to go back and warn the village, but if he would have just gotten the village to come out there, where the two guys that were also on that slideshow were holding the bat because that's where it's at, the movie would have been over in an hour and 6 minutes. But of course, they needed to get it up to over 90 minutes, so that means Ace goes solo. He sees them, he sees the bat, he sees the white bat droppings. He makes gorilla sounds to get them to go think that there's a female female gorilla, silverback. Wait, I don't think females get the silver fur, but I don't know. They know they can get $5,000 for one of them, so they go out after it. But Ace sees the bat, but it turns out they didn't fall for it, or they turned and saw him, and he gets hit with a dart, which knocks him out. But then you see the feet again. But I swear, when they leave, I think both of them are wearing shoes. I don't know. Also, I think in the trailer, when Ace turns around, you see two gorilla hands grab him. But apparently, there was a scene cut from the movie that he was probably going to be attacked by a male gorilla. But they decided to save that for later for another character. Well, they instead of just, killing him, just one of them had a gun, they tie him to a raft along with Spike and send him down a river. He frees Spike because they're going towards a waterfall, but as soon as Spike sees the waterfall, Spike just jumps on a tree and abandons him and even waves goodbye. And he goes over screaming Spike's name. He surfaces. He's alive. Crocodile attacks him. Now, my dad told me that before I saw this, but of course the TV spots let us know this, that the shark in the first movie gets replaced with a crocodile, but this time he fights back. And he fights back big time. He's going, yeah, shackle. He grabs it when it tries to leave, hits it, makes it hit itself, and then starts drowning it. Now after that, Ace is trying to figure out what is the motive. What are they after? So he meditates, his spirit returns to the temple along with Spike. He sees the monk, he asks him the question, but the guy says, the medallion, you do still have it. Ace doesn't, and he starts throwing a fit, and he then tells the guy if it's one a big pile of and he hits him. That's when he goes back to Cappy. Gee, I had no idea Cappy was the main villain. His physical appearance and the way he talks is a big giveaway. Ace drives back the same way he drove there. But this time the vehicle's upside down. He goes and confronts Cappy. And that's whenever he lets him know that Guano, I hope I said that right, is mainly from part of a billion-dollar empire in fertilizing. I don't know if that's accurate, though. Well, he then reveals the plaster on his foot was actually the guano. That's what you slipped in. That explains the abrasion on your palm. Now, if you pay attention to the chest, the pieces are on there, but later they're just mysteriously vanished. The TV version does reveal that Ace does knock them on the floor, but for some reason they cut that part out, so that means the chest piece just mysteriously vanished. Well, it finds out that the cop he brought works for Cappy, and those two guys, the two Australian guys, show up and they lift that bat, which freaks Ace out. They decided to just go ahead and make it look like he did it. I don't know how anyone would believe that. And originally, he hired Ace just to be his alibi to prove that he stopped it, because as long as the Wachati inhabit that area, he can't legally take possession of the caves and get all that bat poop for that billion-dollar industry. Well, Ace summons the elephant to knock the cop out. He then goes to the jungle, calls the animal friends with his rear end. Well, they stampede inside. Ace gets a skunk, which I don't know where it came from because I don't think skunks exist in Africa. Well, he sprays the two poachers. The elephant knocks out the cop. Cappy gets a gun. Greenwald punches him after delaying Ace earlier by not turning off the light switch when Ace begged him to. Okay, Cappy gets the bat. When Ace comes in, he lifts it up to frighten him off. He gets in his car, drives away. Ace comes out mimicking all these chimps, then does a tumble roll off the stairs. Checks one car, no keys. Checks another car, no keys. Checks a monster truck, keys. He goes chasing after Cappy. Cappy's scared out of his mind, so he goes off road. Whenever they get lined up, Ace throws the cigarette lighter in his lap. He digs it out, but unfortunately this means he's not watching where he's going, and when Ace points that out, he smashes into a tree. Ace then runs over the car with the monster truck after Cappy runs off. Cappy can't get the bat, so he just runs off. Ace, at first he's going to ignore it, but then when he realizes it's noon, so he opens the cage, and now he's running with the bat right there, so he's screaming out. He's trying to get back to the village. The tribes are getting ready to go to war, but when Cappy finds them first, he sees the Wachatu, and right when he sees him, you hear that voice go, wild. He goes, "Hey, hunters!" When he sees the others, the Wachati, forgive me if I'm saying them wrong. He ducks for cover. Ace comes up with their gold Tarzan, and he goes, they all battle before it. And then whenever they see Cappy, they call him White Devil, and then they go right after him. Ace gets to the cage, opens it up, puts it in there, and starts going, because he just touched the animal he hates so much. Cappy gets away, but he gets found by a male gorilla, and it rapes him. That's how he gets his comeuppance. After that, the princess and the tiny warrior, who's really the prince for the other tribe, are married. And now, but right whenever you think everything's said and done, the tiny warrior comes out screaming a protest, and Ace asks Greenwald what he saying. He says the princess is not a virgin, and Ace just like, they can tell that. And then you get that Chicago. And he's now running for his life because they know it was him. And that's when the movie ends. Oh my goodness. Ace Ventura is awesome. When Nature Calls is hilarious. It's my favorite film of '95. It has much better comedy than the first movie, but the first film does have a better mystery. I will at least say that. And oh boy, and now it's controversial from a bunch of people who have no backbones, but just ignore those crybabies. But Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, oh god, if you haven't seen this movie, check it out. You may not agree with me, especially if you're not a Jim Carrey fan, but if you are like me, you're gonna love it. Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls is definitely a sequel, better than the first. If you haven't watched either, I recommend both of them, and I will definitely say that all the people who made both those movies, 2 thumbs way up, and I thank Jim Carrey and everybody who made those films and giving me those good memories and all those laughs. If we ever get a true third installment, I don't know what they would do. Maybe he would go after a mythical creature this time. You know, this one could be more of a fantasy, but I guess we'll never know until it finally comes out. But considering all these legacy sequels have been coming out, I don't know if it's a good idea if we get another one. I am never going to watch Ace Ventura Junior, and I have felt my sympathy to all those who have watched that movie. But, you haven't seen it, I recommend it, and I hope you like it as much as me. And if you don't, then, well, don't worry about it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And now, I leave you with my top 10 favorite films of 1995. Wow.